Well, the agency got started in '44, but I didn't have a part of it. My dad and uncle purchased it from a Mr. Ernest Jones. He's in some of these pictures. And the office at that time was on the corner of Fifth and Main, above that boutiques that moved down to town recently. There's stairs around on the Fifth Street side that go up the second floor. And you walk up those stairs and you turn to your right when you got there, and the Murray Insurance Agency was right there, overlooking Main Street. And I can recall when I was in grade school, I'd walk down there and go upstairs, and I can remember, worked on Saturdays then, watching homecoming parades up there. And then in the, I guess in the late '50s sometime, or mid '50s, it moved to an office that was in the rear of the People's Bank building, the old People's Bank building on Main Street. You leave the People's Bank building, start walking down towards the Varsity Theater, which burned, and the office on the right, first office, was where Murray Insurance Agency was. And that's where I started. And I started working part-time in '58 when I was a junior in college. I got my license when I was a junior in college, 21. Worked there until I graduated in '59. Went in for 6 months active duty service, came out January, or late, came out right before Christmas, '59. Started working on January the 2nd, '60, and then I hung it up December 31st, 2005. I was in the business 48 years, 46 plus 2 part-time years. And a lot happened. In 1969, we were part of Bel Air Center being developed. And we moved to our office, which was next door here, where the sewing place was. And we were there, I can't recall the year we moved here, but it was probably sometime in the late '70s, mid '70s. It's been here ever since. And of course, like Jason mentioned, Ann Ruth and Ann Thompson were a part of it from the very beginning, downtown. And let's see, what have I left out, Jason?
Well, Mary, when you said.
And Mary, Dan Shipley. I never will forget, I was going to Sunday school one morning, and of course Dan was very, very active in our church. And he was a dairy farmer. And I was going up the stairs and I was meeting Dan, and he said, "Hey Bob, I'm thinking about dispersing my herd, and I'd like to go in the insurance business." Of course, I almost fell downstairs. And he said, "Give it some thought," and I did. Of course, Dan became a part of the agency then not long after that. And of course, he passed away, I think, right before his 65th birthday, maybe. Yeah. And Dan was, you couldn't have had a better partner than Dan Shipley. And then, of course, my older son, Robert, was a part of the agency. Of course, I retired, like I say, at the end of 2005. He was still part of the agency, and he left a little later than that. But Jason almost gave me a heart attack one Christmas holiday because he was working in Florida down at for the Department of Law Enforcement down there in the lab. And one Christmas before he's going back, he came to my office. My office is right over there for all those years. And he said, "Dad, can I talk to you?" I said, "Sure, come on in." And he said, "I'd like to come back to Murray and go in the insurance business." And I'm glad I was sitting down because Jason, growing up, he always had spur of the moment things. And I thought, now, who has he met on the internet? You know.
I think they had the internet
Let me back up. Didn't have computers in. So I thought, who has he met back here in Murray on my phone? And he said, "Give it some thought and give me a call in 3 or 4 months." Or I told him to do that, and he did, and he still wanted to come back, so I said, "Come on back."
Worst decision you ever made, wasn't it?
And then I can't recall, it was in the mid-80s or something, when the Purdums owned the dealership,
In the 90s.
in the 90s.
Yeah, it's in the
They owned the, Buick Cadillac dealership out on 121 bypass in the building that's still vacant. And my son Robert came to me, he said, you know, the Purdums are getting ready to sell the dealership. And of course, John, he grew up across the street, one house up from me. He did, I was already an adult. And he said, let's go talk to John, see if he wants to come into business. So we did. Rest is history there.
The best decision he ever
So,
made.
so that's how these two came to be in the insurance business. And, have I left anything out?
Dad, I think you said enough. Thank you.
It's been a most rewarding career, and, you know, I got to thinking, I spent 48 years, 46 plus a couple of sports, part-time. And I guess I spent more living hours in this business than I did at home, if you start looking at the number of daylight hours a day. And, I mean, I can remember when I worked on Saturday afternoons downtown, I remember the afternoon that John F. Kennedy got assassinated, and he's coming downtown and blowing horns and everything else. And, but this has been in my blood and still is in my blood, and the friendships I developed and the friendships that John and Jason, I couldn't be prouder of the way they handle the business. Of course, I was lucky. I came into it before the computer came in existence. And I'll have to say in part that technology kind of drove me to retire maybe a year or two earlier than I would have otherwise. But anyhow, it was the most rewarding experience in my life. Well, I spent all my life with it. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, Dad.